Hi, Dave Roscoe here. As promised, I'm going to present to you today the case of the disappearing Pi coin. Let's paint a scenario. Pi coins get migrated into a user's wallet, and the transaction is visible in the app. The 14-day pending period kicks in, and the transaction is shown as locked. Then suddenly, the coins vanish. There's no transaction recorded in the Pi wallet, and the previous migration transaction is now shown as unlocked. What's happening here? Have the Pi coins disappeared? Has the nefarious Pi core team stolen your coin? Did a hacker somehow transfer your coin away without recording a transaction on the blockchain? We'll get to the bottom of this, and I'll show you exactly what's going on. But first, let's go over the metrics for the last 24 hours. The current circulating supply is 6.773 billion. From this perspective, it doesn't look like there's any change, but there actually has been. This circulating supply increased by 313,000 in the last 24 hours. Locked migrations are down 1.3 million, and unlocked migrations are up 1.6 million. This shows us that the unlocked migrations were higher than the total migrated Pi in the last 24 hours. Let's take a look at the price action. The current price of Pi is 76 cents, and the market cap is 5.18 billion, which is down 3.14% over the last 24 hours. The trading volume is $159.3 million, which is down 1.93% over the last 24 hours. And surprisingly, there isn't a huge dip. There's like a steady decline here. That's the result of yet more Pi coin entering circulation, whether that be on the exchanges or just sitting in people's wallets. This is to be expected, and I wouldn't worry about this too much. So let's get down to explaining what's going on with this vanishing Pi coin. And I will use an example. Now, mind you, none of the information I'm going to provide you is compromising in any way. All of this information is publicly available. So I'm not revealing anybody's personal information here. This user had a migration of 708.9 Pi on March 8th, 2025. We know this is a migration because there's an initial 1 Pi deposit from the registered Pi Foundation address, followed by a migrated balance of 708.9 Pi from the same address. Now, I can confirm that this is a Pi Foundation address because it's the same one my Pi was migrated from 3 years ago. You can see the user's current balance is now 1 Pi, with only 0.01 Pi available. This is normal with the way that Pi accounts and migrations occur. Where did this Pi go? Why is there no transaction recorded in the wallet? Let's dig a little deeper. For this, I decided to use the PiScan.io app because it provides more information than Pi's native blockchain explorer. In particular, it shows the known Pi Foundation wallet addresses. Pi network migrations happen in batches. In this case, 31 migrations were part of this batch. You can see the transactions for our user here. You can see that the account is created. 1 Pi is debited from the Pi Foundation wallet to the user wallet. Notice it is not a claimable transaction. This is important. 2 claimable balance claimants are created for 708 Pi. This is also important, and you need to remember this. One of the claimants is Pi Foundation wallet number 11, and the other is the user who had their Pi vanished. 708 Pi is debited from the Pi Foundation wallet to the user, and here is what the completed transaction looks like. Notice how the claimant is Pi Foundation and the lockup says 14 days? This is because within the 14-day pending period, only Pi Foundation can claim the balance. This is in line with their stated purpose for the 14-day pending period. From here, there is no further information visible on the blockchain. Why? In a previous video, I talked about smart contracts and how they are automated programs that run on the blockchain, and they are tied to transactions, performing pre-programmed behaviors based on defined conditions. Pi migrations are handled via smart contracts, which manage the 14-day pending period and the user-defined lockup period. Within the 14-day pending period, only the Pi Foundation can claim the transferred balance. When the pending period is over, Pi Foundation is removed as a claimant by the contract and the user is added. From there, Pi Foundation is out of the picture and no longer has any control over your migrated Pi. Due to the problem with compromised wallets, Pi Network recalled all migrations within the 14-day pending period to protect users from losing their Pi. This is exactly what the pending period was meant for, and people should be thankful, especially those of you that would have lost Pi. Yes, it's inconvenient for people who were not at jeopardy and had their migrations delayed, but the Pi Network is more concerned with the overall health of their system and less about the individual. When the Pi Network recalled this particular migration, all it had to do was exercise its right within the smart contract to claim the balance, which it did. This transaction happens on the Pi Foundation's wallet ledger, not on the user's wallet, because it was not executed there. Instead, the only thing the user sees is the removed balance and an unlocked migration transaction. And it shows unlocked because the smart contract enforces movement of coin, and if it's locked, it can't be moved. So obviously the smart contract has to unlock the coin first before the Pi Foundation can recall it. Now, I could have tried to find the claimed balance on the Pi wallet, but I didn't want to look through thousands of transactions, and to me, the answer was pretty clear. This user was not scammed by the Pi Network or anyone else. This is just a terrible UI design. The unlocked migration makes it look like it was stolen without a trace immediately after unlocking. Now, this is very reminiscent of the people who legitimately had their Pi stolen by bad actors. If their wallets were compromised, at the instant that the transaction unlocked, the Pi would be transferred to another wallet. But that's not what's happening here. And even in those cases, a transaction was recorded. They didn't know why it was there. What they should have done was use a different symbol other than the generic unlock to indicate the transaction was recalled, or put in a separate transaction indicating explicitly that the transaction was clawed back. But that didn't happen. So it left users wondering what the heck was going on. The Pi wallet only records blockchain transactions. Because this recall did not happen on the user's wallet, nothing was recorded on the blockchain for this user. It's just horrible. Honestly, this is another example where a bad UI design causes unnecessary problems. I hope you found this investigation informative and educational. For me, this was very interesting, and I want to thank the user from the comments that pointed this case out to me, which triggered me to look into this. And now all of you know a little bit more about how blockchains and smart contracts actually work. So don't worry, Pi is not disappearing from people's wallets, and I think this is pretty much over. There may still be cases where migrations are recalled, but in this particular case, all of them were recalled in a very short period of time, and it caused a lot of problems. So if it does happen and it looks just like this, don't worry. Everything's working exactly the way it should be. But like I said, I think for the most part, this part is over, and migrations have now resumed as two-factor authentication rolls out. So don't worry, don't panic, and remember, the success of Pi Network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.